If you're hearing this message, it probably means you're consuming the podcast on YouTube. It doesn't count towards our listens, and it doesn't help us gain any podcast sponsors.
Oh my god.
In other words, we just put it here because we know you guys wanted it here. So if you could do me a huge favor and hit that subscribe button with your sack, I would big time appreciate it, and I would reciprocate by giving you a Kool-Aid jammer. Thank you, kings and queens. Now here's listen to the podcast. All right, bye.
Now, if we dissect the importance of lettuce for a second,
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and lead him in.
All right. Yeah. All right. Bowblax, go ahead and get it and start us off. Start the podcast. Open it. Do the intro.
yo, welcome to the first podcast. I
Whoa.
am your host, Bowblax, and that's it. That's it. That's how we normally start it all the time. I've been here for over 100 episodes, I should know. Today I have my guest, Doplex and Lars. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us.
That's episode like 14 in a row now, where the guest makes the joke.
Well, you said to start it off, so I guess that's a common joke. Fuck, I'm not original. I haven't seen the podcast, so.
In defense of you, I think that you came in with a lot of energy. You like really started like you kind of. I was taken aback. So even though it was a not very original joke, you still really sold it. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm used to podcasting, as I said, with these guys before we started. I've podcasted a lot with Augie
Right.
on his channel, Augie RFC, and just in general, I've talked on the internet for a very long time, so.
That's true. You
Yeah.
talk on the internet for a living. That's why I was insulted
Yeah.
on your behalf for Lars asking you if you know how podcasts work.
Oh, that's like my fail-safe question, just in case we get like a dumbass on the show.
I'm just a YouTuber who doesn't know how to record or anything, you know.
Hey, dumb,
I
do you know how to
just
talk?
make videos in Movie Maker. This is my first podcast. Yeah.
It'd be kind of impressive if you knew nothing about the craft, but you somehow managed to get 200,000 subscribers.
Yeah. No,
even
something that
so.
was interesting is, do you know Creepshow Art?
I'm familiar.
Yeah, so she does all of her videos on an iPad, and makes them in Windows Movie Maker, so.
Really?
Yeah.
That's impressive. I think that's an impressive way to grow on YouTube, is to like use very outdated technology.
Yeah, and she has 300K.
Yeah, that's insane. So you don't need a $3,000 camera, people. You just need an iPad and Windows Movie Maker and a keyboard that says.
Yeah, you really do. Like, I feel like a lot of the YouTubers who are like up and coming and they like get like fixated on, oh, I got to get the best equipment to start off my YouTube career or whatever. Those are the people who are just finding an excuse to procrastinate a lot of the time. If you're really passionate about making videos, you'll typically, do it whatever way you can while you try to get those equipment later down the line. So.
It's very true. I think people can definitely learn from that.
I mean, I recorded my first video on a tripod pointing the camera at the family camera at the TV playing Pikmin. So definitely not the most high-tech equipment, but
right. Well, we need to bring that back. I feel like Let's Players are getting too cocky. I think we need to start doing that again.
oh yeah, because we used to be like, I don't know, we were just humble. We were just playing games for fun and putting it online, and now it's all, I'm trying to be a big streamer and get sponsorships, and I'm trying to be the next PewDiePie or what have you. Like back,
Markiplier.
yeah. Actually, I started Let's Playing like before PewDiePie and Markiplier were big, so my inspirations were like older people who've done it for longer and in a more traditional sense, like Chugga Conroy. And what I mean by traditional is that they just played through the game all the way through, no cuts. It was more of like a guide rather than like a personality-driven, funny gaming video.
Right.
So yeah, and then PewDiePie started coming up, and when I was younger, I was real jealous of people like PewDiePie. I was like, PewDiePie, dude, I should have been the big one, but...
Well, now you'll be the PewDiePie of Twitter drama.
Yeah, I guess.
What if we went back to like the Dark Side Phil style, where you get the video camera and you point it at the TV and you just really suck at the game?
Oh my god.
I mean, nothing's stopping us.
Yeah, I don't know how many people would watch it though. Now that we have such like edited funny moment videos. Like the thing is, back in the day, like people were fine with like watching through the more dull parts of like a Let's Play to get to the funny parts, but now all the newer videos are just the funny parts already like cut to, without all that like kind of filler.
Yeah.
So bringing that back, I think that's just like, I don't think that can really happen. People will get bored and click off. People have a short attention span, so.
That's true.
Yeah, I wasn't being serious. I just wanted to mention Darkside Phil.
Oh, sorry.
I was.
Sorry.
I was.
I don't know.
Notebooks, are you familiar with the Darkside Phil saga, by the way?
No, I'm not.
Oh my god, okay. Take an afternoon at some point and research Darkside Phil, the Let's Player. It's just such a... We won't get into it on here, but it's a really fascinating saga of someone who... his entire personality is being bad at video games. Like it's a really fascinating topic.
Yeah, but he's not intentionally bad, right? Like he tries.
Right. No, yeah, he's trying really hard, and he always blames the game whenever.
Oh my god!
Like he's doing poorly, and yeah,
that's actually funny.
Interesting. I mean,
I think what's his face down the rabbit hole did a video on that at one point.
Yeah, I've heard of that video, but I think it's over an hour long, and that's probably why I haven't seen it.
Oh,
so long.
Jesus Christ! Yeah. Is it kind of like Wings of Redemption, where like the dude punches his holes in his walls and breaks his controllers? Oh, then I'm all about it.
It's kind of similar to that.
There's something about watching not like rage or whatever, you know, like that's something like that's kind of like been done a lot, but like the really sad ones where it's just like, oh man, I think this guy's gonna fucking hurt somebody.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like it's kind of like watching the Joker, but in real life.
Well, it's just kind of sad though. Well, it's like depressing because it's like at the end of the day, it is like a human. It's a person who is clearly like tortured by like their ineptitude.
Video games.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, all right. Josh, why don't you go ahead and tell the audience, by the way, since we didn't do this at all for some reason, a little bit about what you do, who you are.
Yeah. Currently I read tweets on YouTube. So basically whenever dramas happen, it typically comes from Twitter. So instead of just doing a commentary while showing the relevant tweets, I just read out all the tweets verbatim, even the less relevant ones. And I don't know, the format has caught on and I've continued to do it. It's called Twitter Versus on YouTube. And then prior to that, we touched on it a bit earlier, but for the first like 8 years on YouTube, from 2011 to 2018, I was trying to be a Let's Player and a gaming content creator. And then how I actually came across the Twitter Versus stuff is that I was always looking at the drama community on the side because it was really entertaining and I was invested in it. And I actually have a really bad memory. So in order to remember certain dramas to like bring up for conversation or arguments with people regarding drama, I created like a little compilation of all the tweets that were relevant to the topic and put it on my second channel. And I was like, hell, I'll just make it public for whatever, if anyone wants to use this. And it caught on. And then it started getting bigger than my gaming stuff. So I eventually transitioned all the way to there. So
I do have a question about that. So I want to know, because obviously, I feel like I've been familiar with your content for a while, even before the whole Twitter Versus thing. I do want to know, like, how do you feel that your Twitter Versus series is what like made your channel really flourish? Like, do you like, would you rather make something else, or are you like happy like doing what you're doing now, or is there something that you want to do as opposed to the whole drama thing?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think it goes without saying that nobody wants to just retweets verbatim forever, especially if you aspire to be a creator and a personality. I can't really inject my personality that much into reading tweets, although I try my best. It's definitely not the most preferred way I would have wanted to grow. I would have preferred to grow off my gaming content or what have you, although I'm very like lucky and blessed, and I love that I'm a big content creator. But if I had to choose how I could have gotten big, I wouldn't have chose the Twitter stuff in particular, but I do enjoy doing it. It's just that I enjoy doing other stuff as well, and it doesn't get as many views, but I do enjoy doing what I do, but I would have preferred to grow off something else, I guess. Especially since it's so reliant on like finding drama and like keeping up with people and stuff. It would have been nicer to like grow as a gaming channel, and then I'm like, oh, I can just play this game whenever I have more of my own schedule when it comes to the type of videos I want to make, instead of, oh, this drama happens, I have to cover it, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So you're doomed, is what you're saying. You're
No, I'm very lucky for what I have, and I think like I can definitely like transition it into something that into other stuff. Like I'm definitely grateful to have this platform, because even though, you know, I might want to do gaming content, I can, you know, promote my gaming content with Twitterverses. I have that platform to promote that stuff, and then also I can, you know, make videos that are similar to Twitterverses, but maybe not exactly. Like, for example, I've made a video titled Twitter versus PS5, where I'm reading out PS5 memes on Twitter. That's not exactly YouTube drama on Twitter, but it's something similar. And I just have a 200k sub platform to evolve my content and do what I want with it. So that's good regardless of how I got it. And I do like doing Twitterverses. It's just that occasionally there's like some downsides to it, as I said. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, the way I see it is, like, you may view it as, you know, like it's just reading tweets or whatever, but I mean, there's definitely still like an effort being put in as far as like just organizing, you know, because like typically when people they kind of come into the drama a little bit late and they're like, I don't know what the fuck's going on, and you kind of put it all together in like a nice little basket for people. It's kind of, in a way, like, I don't even want to use this. It's kind of like journalism in a weird way, where you're like, that's kind of what you're doing. It's like a weird modern day journalism, because a lot of journalists, they just fucking read tweets.
yeah,
Like, there are articles that are literally made from people who just, like, literally they just, oh, this person tweeted this thing. And obviously that's, you know, they have a salary, they have a 401k. So I think that, you know, I wouldn't downplay it as much, because obviously what you're doing, it's still a hole that has been there on YouTube that you're filling. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. I'm actually surprised not a lot of other people have filled that hole, because I guess the closest thing you could compare me to is like Drama Alert or like Tipster or something along those lines, but there's not many people who just like read out the raw tweets and the raw evidence of what's happening without like putting that much commentary into it.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised, since it works so well, I'm surprised that no one else has tried to, you know, use that same format on other things.
Well, they probably have, and they just haven't really gotten the traction or the recognition. Like,
there's probably people copying you that you don't even know about.
Yeah,
potentially. I mean, if there's people who are copying me out there, I'd love to check out their channel and see how they're doing.
Because that's the thing. It's like, I mean, getting success on either of those platforms, Twitter, or YouTube, or, you know, Twitch, and all these is it's somewhat of a lottery, and you have this basically one person who wins it with a certain niche or a certain idea, and then you have, you know, 30 other people who probably put just as much work into it. It's just like it doesn't get in front of the right eyes at the right time, and it's just a matter of, like, you know, just like the right people getting to see it, and then it kind of takes off from there.
Yeah, exactly. It's not necessarily like, you know, the phrase work smarter, not harder. It's kind of like that when it comes to YouTube. You got to like really see how you can get yourself out there, what opportunities are available to you, how you can pursue them in a way that makes sense. Like, not a clout chasing way or anything like that, but like just what you can use to grow and what you can like take from other channels to improve, specifically like your thumbnails and titles, because that's really the main key to getting recognition, is the YouTube algorithm. And the YouTube algorithm doesn't care how many hours you put into making a video.
Nope.
They care about the thumbnail and title for the click-through rate and the watch retention. So it's just about like thinking about what other big YouTubers do, seeing how you can apply it to yourself, and then also trying to be unique, because a lot of the time, like, if someone's already big doing something, let's say PewDiePie is big doing Let's Plays, you can't just copy-paste him and expect to do well, because why would people watch you when they already have PewDiePie? You have to fill a niche. Like, for example, I filled the niche of reading tweets because no one else was reading tweets verbatim, I guess. So, like, if that niche was already filled, like if someone else already did the idea, I don't really think I'd be that big, honestly. I don't. Maybe I'd find something else to fill, but that's like a big part of why I think I'm so successful.
I think it's kind of a situation also where the definition of the niche can be pretty small. Like, for example, I'm going to make just like a comparison here that if you look at Keemstar's channel, Drama Alert, and you look at Philip the Fuckass's channel, they're really, if you get into it, they're really very similar. It's just that Philip presents himself as like the good guy, and Keemstar just like portrays himself as the villain. So it's like that niche can be pretty similar to something else as long as there's just that one little difference. Because I feel like that's how they differentiate themselves, even though what they're doing is very similar.
Yeah, and also the type of news I think Philip DeFranco covers is different than Keem. I don't think Philip DeFranco covers TikTok as much as Keem does, but I'm not sure.
Does Keem cover TikTok?
Yeah, he covers TikTok a lot. A lot of Jake Paul, a lot of TikTok, and those are the two main reasons why I kind of fell out of watching Drama Alert. I used to watch it like all the time back in like 2016, 2017, 2018. Once the Jake Paul drama started getting oversaturated, and now we have like TikTok drama, which I'm like completely disconnected from TikTok community. I'm like, I feel like a boomer, honestly. It's like the first time where it's like, I feel like there's kind of like a generational gap in terms of like memes and trends between me and the youngest demographic online. But yeah, I
could definitely relate
don't
with
watch
you there.
Drama Alert as much.
Yeah. Like, whenever I see shit on Twitter and it's like, this person went to a party during COVID and she's telling her fans to take her mask off. I'm like, first of all, who the fuck is this person? And why should I care?
Yeah. A lot of actually my channel and like what how I was driven to make my videos like back before I had more subs with the drama stuff is that like I was tired, specifically TikTok really didn't exist back then. It was more of the Jake Paul stuff, but I was tired of like that like new wave of commentary, and I wanted to go back and hone in on the stuff that I thought was interesting, which was like Keemstar's Twitter and stuff with H3 and stuff with, you know, everybody that we paid attention to in 2016 or people who act similar to that and stuff within like the gaming community and stuff. So if you've noticed on my channel, I like barely ever cover Tana Mongeau or Jake Paul or Logan Paul. I think I have occasionally, but
oh my God.
I think a lot of the reason why I was driven to make the content I make is because I love like the nitty gritty of drama in like that older sphere, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Where it feels like there's actually like you can, because the problem with like newer drama is like there's a clear good side and a clear bad side. It's like, let's all hate Jake Paul because he's doing something bad. Let's all hate Logan Paul because he's doing something bad. This is bad influence for kids, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like with something like Leafy or Keemstar, there's genuine arguments you can make for both sides. Like, this is why I'm pro Keem, this is why I'm pro Leafy. And I feel like there's more of like a genuine discussion to be had there, which makes it more interesting to me in comparison to like some trivial thing like a boxing match or something.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, even just looking at your uploads here, I mean, you definitely cover a lot of the stuff that if you're a person who's like on Twitter and in like I don't want to say like the commentary sphere, but if you're kind of like around the people in that community and people even just like on the outskirts of that community, you kind of like know about this a lot of the stuff you cover, like but obviously, you know, with when people post shit on Twitter and when people get into it, things happen so fast. So it's really easy to get distracted and not know what the hell's happening. And then, you know, your 3 quote replies in, you're just, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Like like you covered the Twitter and Twitch versus Burger King thing. Like you cover a lot of the stuff that you would see on the internet, but not anywhere else, except unless you go to your channel, which I think is it's like I say, you fill that hole.
Yeah. I was gonna say like your most recent video on the weird Keemstar H3 drama with the sex stuff. I remember like I caught like 3 seconds of that out of context on Twitter itself, and then like I guess kind of watching your video helped kind of contextualize all that, because like I just saw like, Keemstar is doing a Clinton style denial of having sex with Hitler Klein, and I was like, okay, like I didn't understand the situation at all. So that video actually did help.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. It was kind of like a trivial, dumb thing that went on, but I thought it was funny enough to explain and make a video out of. Actually, a funny thing about that video, you know how at the very beginning I said, I like set up the scenario by saying, Keemstar's been through a lot of controversy, whether it be what he said about Alex or the 2016 drama or what he said about Ethan.
Yeah.
And this is what's going on. So Keemstar actually got extremely mad at me in the DMs because I mentioned that he said the N-word to Alex, and he said I was trying to paint him in a bad light and smear him, which
As if people
and,
don't
like,
already
paint a
know
narrative,
about that.
Which, number one, like theoretically, if someone didn't know about the Alex stuff while watching the video, they wouldn't know that Keemstar said the N-word because I said what Keemstar said to Alex. I didn't say Keemstar said the N-word to Alex. I didn't even say what he said. So it could have been anything. The only way they'd know is if they recognized the footage or they already knew like previously. Or I guess they'd like hear it and type in Keemstar Alex. But that's not really the point of the video. I feel like most people aren't going to pause at the first 2 seconds to type in Keemstar Alex and figure it out. So it was just so dumb, and Keemstar thought I was like backstabbing him or like attacking him or whatever. He got in like this heated debate about him. So it's just like, okay.
God, I feel like you and Keemstar have like such a storied history. Like from him stealing your tweets and like cropping you out, and like it's crazy. Like still to this day I can't ever really tell like where you guys stand with each other because like I feel like it's changed so much, like back and forth. So I legit don't know.
Here's the thing, like for me, I am just as much in the dark as you guys are when it comes to Keem's opinion on me. My opinion on him is that I've always liked him as an entertainer. I mean, he was the main focus of my channel for the longest time, and he still is when it comes to making videos. Keemstar's usually like the number one person I would make a video off of. So I like him a lot from an entertainment standpoint. And I only really dislike him when he personally slights me, but usually that wears off pretty quickly. I'm a pretty forgiving person. I know Keemstar's not the greatest person, but I just like him because he's entertaining and I just like his personality. I don't know. And I see some good in him, but yeah, that's basically it. Like, I like him, but I recognize his flaws, and I'm not gonna like ignore his flaws or try to protect him. And that's fair. I'm a fan, essentially. So
yeah, I think that's a fair perspective. I mean, there's no doubting that Keemstar is an entertaining person, but that's about it, probably as much as I can say. Granted, I don't know him outside of his content, but yeah, I mean, he's entertaining. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he has bad qualities and good qualities, and I think his bad and good qualities are a lot more pronounced than most people's bad or good qualities, and maybe he has more bad qualities than good, especially when compared to the typical person, but I don't know, there's a lot of good in him, I think. I just think, like, online in particular, it's hard to judge him as a person because I feel like he acts a lot differently offline than he does online. Like, obviously, there's, like, some correlation between the two, but generally he kind of just doesn't give a fuck online. He knows he's kind of uncancelable to a certain extent, and he likes trolling people. He loves trolling people. He built his career off trolling, and he still definitely has that aspect of him where he wants to like troll people or get people mad. He like gets excited when people are mad at him. So I feel like a lot of the stuff he does is on purpose so people are mad at him. High. So he's fulfilled. Yeah, he's complicated to say the least, I guess. But
yeah,
I think kind of the shame with him isn't so much the canceled versus uncanceled thing, but the fact that you can kind of see like the qualities of a really good entertainer, and you kind of like, at least in my case, like I kind of wonder if he wasn't such a fucking dick all the time. Like, I bet he would be even, like, way more popular at that point because he wouldn't have made so many enemies and he wouldn't have burned so many bridges at that point. Because, like, I like to watch it like I like to watch, like, a train wreck, and I can see the guy's, like, hilarious and like, he knows how to, like, stir stuff up.
Well, see,
it's just so ugly.
See, that's the thing. I don't know if, because, like, when you think back to the Baited podcast, right, a big aspect to that and the big appeal was the fact that, you know, him and Clown and Tommy, they would just yell at each other, and it was like a podcast of just constant pot stirring, and that really, that I feel like that contributed a lot to Keemstar's image as far as like, oh, this guy stirs the pot. I don't know if he was outwardly nice. I don't know if that would improve his image. I feel like it would probably do the opposite, because I think a big thing with him being entertaining is the fact that he's an asshole, and it's just like, it's like high school, right? Keemstar is like the bully, and if you're not the one getting bullied, that's when it's entertaining, because you're like, all right, at least I can kind of like sit on the sideline and watch the shit show.
You know what, man?
Yeah.
I don't know if I really agree, Amir. Because like sometimes when I see him, when he's just like kicking back and eating popcorn and just like taking in all the drama when he's doing interviews and stuff, and just like giggling along with everyone, I find that very entertaining. I feel like the good side of Keemstar would be very fun to watch. But that's just my opinion. Like, you don't have to.
I think you can be the type of entertainer Keem is, like the bombastic, pot-stirring, antagonistic entertainer, without being like such a problematic person, even like behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And not having like some of the traits that Keemstar has. Like for example, Nicholas Diorio, he's a great guy, but he also plays this like very bombastic, aggressive character online. But he's not like the same as Keem.
Yeah.
Bowblax, are you familiar with Dick Masterson?
Yes.
I think that's another good example of that. Really bombastic, kind of aggressive guy, but no, it's not really a bad dude. Like at the end of the day, like good heart kind of guy.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't know him that well, but from what I've seen, I would agree with you. I think it's definitely possible. But I think Keemstar's bad personality traits are part of the reason why he's in the position he is in right now, both the good and the bad. If he had those good personality traits, maybe he'd be a bigger creator, or maybe he would have never been a creator at all.
Yeah. I guess that's...
We really don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to say. Just like, I almost wonder if like maybe in a few years, because obviously, like, how old is Keemstar? He's what is he like? Was he like 50s?
I think he's in his 40s.
Yeah. Like I wonder...
Or his late 30s.
I wonder, like, realistically, like how long he plans to still do Drama Alert and just the internet in general. But I wonder if he'll ever come to a point where he'll be like, all right, I'm done, playing this up. I'm going to like kind of kick back and just be Daniel for a bit. Like I'm going to post up as Daniel if that's cool with y'all. I wonder if like people would still take him the same way.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't think people would like that.
I don't think he would do that in such a fundamentally like blatant way. I think it's possible that he could definitely like downplay his characteristics and be like slightly more genuine and less over the top, but generally I think he will never like change his ways of doing things and acting online. Like I think the only thing that could change is maybe he'll be less of a dick to people behind the scenes, or more like understanding before he goes like completely like, gets really mad. Like a perfect example is my DM conversation I said with you, or I mentioned earlier. That wasn't public. That wasn't for entertainment. He was legitimately mad based on something so small. I think he's just so sensitive in a lot of ways. And I think if he's more forgiving and more receptive of looking at something from someone else's point of view and not as like short-tempered, I think he can retain all of those other aspects while still being a better person, but generally the same type of entertainer and the same type of person, both bad and good qualities. And I think that's possible. A fundamental shift in how he acts, I think that's never going to happen. I think it's core to his personality.
That is a good point, though. I guess I never really thought about how he acts in private. Excuse me. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like Keemstar, he's an enigma. And I feel like you can't really...
He really is.
You can't really know him unless you like directly interact with him.
Yeah, but that's true about everyone, though.
That's
we
true.
were talking about that on the bonus episode with Many Kudos about how like even with just to talk about Keemstar as a concept, and this really applies to anyone. Like even if it's someone who like interacts with the public on the level that he does, and there's a lot of other entertainers who do that as well. Like people are very active on Twitter. I would say Bowblax, you're an example of that. Very active on Twitter. Like someone could consume a lot of your online social media interactions, but they don't know Josh. Like they don't know you at all. Like if they met you, they'd probably be surprised at what they found. So it's like I don't know. Bowblax, I get the impression that people would expect how they perceived you when they met you, but I don't know. But there's still obviously depth to you, Amir, that people wouldn't be able to pick up on the internet just from watching your funny haha YouTube videos, you know.
That's true.
I think a lot of people see how Keemstar acts online, and like they have the same kind of view that Ethan Klein has, where it's like, this is bad, let's throw him out, let's get him off the internet, good riddance, all he's done is bad. And I fundamentally disagree with that, even though he's an enigma and he has a lot of bad traits as well as good traits. I think being very different, especially online, is a good thing because it spices things up, right? Like, we don't want everyone to be the same type of person. It would be boring.
Yeah.
Even though sometimes it can be problematic, you know, I'd rather have Keemstar be here than not be here. For as much bad he's done.
I get it, but at the end of the day, like, internet is jungle law, baby. I mean, it's like, if people like eventually want to kick someone off, they're gonna, and it's like you can say like, "Oh, that's bad," or "That's good," and it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, what's gonna happen is gonna happen. You know, the animals in the jungle are gonna strike when they want to strike.
That's the problem with being on somebody else's territory. Like, obviously, YouTube and any kind of platform, really. Morals don't apply. But I mean, I agree with you, Bowblax, to an extent. I mean, I think that, you know, naturally, if you're doing, because I don't even think it's like inherently bad, right? Like, bad would be like sending a mob to, or like, I mean, I'm trying to think of like a good example for in Keemstar's case. Like, I feel like what he does, he stirs the pot. That's what he does. Obviously, he runs a drama channel. That's how he makes his money. That's how he feeds his kid.
Yeah, and I don't think stirring the pot's bad.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Sorry for the verse guy. Bad. I don't think that's one of his bad traits. I stir the pot sometimes. Not as aggressively as him, of course. But.
Right.
Oh, just stirring the pot in general, I think, is probably like the best thing that you can do on the internet. I mean,
more content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I had the balls to do that.
I mean, me just signal boosting an issue through reading tweets, that's technically stirring the pot. So
yeah,
but you're not throwing in like a direct opinion on anything. I mean, I guess you do, but
I'm not the one to like start the stirring, but I can continue it, right? Like I'm not the one to put the ladle in the soup, but I'll continue stirring.
You could argue that you've kind of put a ladle next to the crock pot though, and that like people, it's like you know, some documentaries where it's like they're not actually saying anything, but just by what they present and how they present it, there is kind of like an implied opinion there to some extent. Like if you're showing all the dirty laundry, what you're saying is take a look at all this dirty laundry, and you know, are you seeing what I'm seeing? I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And I do that, although I also show the other side, so even if I have a strong opinion, like let's say it's Keemstar versus Ethan, and I'm pro Keemstar on this particular issue. There's times where I've been also pro Ethan on a particular issue, by the way. But let's just say I'm pro Keemstar on this one. I'll show Keemstar's argument in full with everything and everybody backing his opinion, and same with Ethan as much as I can. I obviously can't do an exact 50-50, but I guess as close as I can. And then people can either, I basically like put two ladles next to the soup, and people can pick which one. And obviously there's one I prefer, but they don't know which one I prefer, and they can pick for themselves, so.
Or they could dual wield the ladles.
Yeah, I try to be like as little, I don't even know how to say it, as little manipulative as possible, as least manipulative as possible with my content. Yeah. I just try to give the content, and obviously, like, a certain tweet looks a certain way, then hopefully I show another tweet that also looks the opposite way, so then there's, like, that confliction, and you can decide. Unless they just see the first tweet and then click off, and then there's only that one side, but...
Okay, speaking of manipulation, by the way, and I think we should move on from, like, the Keemstar stuff, because that's going to dominate the podcast otherwise, but it's kind of one last point. You know, I was talking earlier about the leafy Keemstar sex thing that, like... So I was watching it, and I'm like, I'm sitting there, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just like sitting there, kind of like feeling like I'm an atheist in like a church service, where I'm like, guys, are like, does anyone like, are you actually buying this? Because it's like so transparently concocted that it's just like, and it seemed like people were kind of taking it in as if it was like legitimate on any level, as opposed to being obviously manufactured. And I didn't understand that.
Wait,
that seemed weird to me.
I said it was silly at the end of the video. I never explicitly said it was fake, but I at least tried to imply it was my inflection at the end of the video. I said, this is all silly stuff. But
yeah, were people actually like buying it? Because I mean,
are people buying it? I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure they weren't, but I haven't checked my comment section on that, so maybe.
I mean, to be fair, Leafy, the way Leafy was tweeting the stuff, like, you know, with I have the audio recording and all this shit. Like, I mean, obviously Leafy was trolling, but like, I can definitely see some people maybe, you know, because obviously there are I'm sure there are some dumbasses on the internet that are stupid enough to believe it. But I'm curious, Lars, did you actually see people buying it?
I mean, yeah, I did. I saw discussions on Reddit and Twitter. And, I mean, it wasn't like a large majority of people. It's just like, it was weird to watch anyone at all.
Here's the theory. The theory is that fair. Theodore, Ethan's son, is Keemstar's son, and he was conceived when the podcast happened between Ethan and Keem. But that happened in 2017, and Theodore was born in 2019. So Ela would have had to be pregnant for 2 years. I don't know. Like,
it could happen, right?
Oh
like, it's possible.
Oh my god.
With Keem's genes, maybe.
Holy shit.
Takes a long time for a baby to grow a beard that thick.
People believe, like, you just gotta think about it for like 2 seconds. Like,
well, you have to keep in mind that the audiences for some of these creators are very young.
Yeah.
So.
I guess they don't know what they didn't learn about birds and the bees. Like,
yeah, it's just like you don't really necessarily think about that on the spot. Like, you're not necessarily comparing dates.
Yeah, I know.
Or you don't even get that far into the content.
Into the
yeah,
theory.
that's
You're
true.
like, oh, well, that's why Ethan hates him so much. Okay, moving on.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Just to give you an analogy, my old co-host on here, whose name is Joe, he does a large TikTok channel called Joey Cooks, where he basically pretends that he's going to poison his brother every day, and that like the only way he'll be saved is if people like and share the video. And a lot of kids, like 5 figures of kids, will like be like, oh no, and they'll like and share it every time. And it's very successful content. And you just have to keep in mind, like, with these people that, you know, it's not really like people who are kind of in our broad age bracket here on the podcast as hosts and guests
with our large IQs.
Yeah, no, just being adults though. I'm saying, like, who can kind of tell when someone's yanking our chain a bit, that doesn't really apply to most of the followers in question.
I guess
it's such stupid drama to begin with. Like, it's funny on the level that it's just like so outrageously fake.
Yeah.
And the fact that it still reached, like, it got big enough for Bowblax to make a video on it.
Yeah,
it's true.
And it getting big was kind of weird because it was a joke on Twitter initially from Leafy, but Keemstar's reaction to it was out of the ordinary. He privated his account. He kept saying, stop it, stop it. Obviously, completely in on a joke, I guess. And then he addressed it on Drama Alert, which is not something he typically does even with a joke. So it was a little strange. It felt like they were trying to do something, but it didn't pan out. So they just like made it, left it as a joke or something. But I don't know.
You know what it is? It's Kayfabe. That's what it is. That's, at the end of the day, it's Kayfabe. Like, there's nothing more to it.
What's Kayfabe?
Kayfabe is the summation of the illusion that pro wrestling is real, and the extent to which the wrestlers and the entertaining organizations, the promotions, play along with it. Like, you guys are obviously familiar with the fact that pro wrestling is fake, but
what?
All right, that's just the term for it. That's what's going on here. when someone like Keemstar is like, oh, I'm so upset, I'm going to private my account. That's kayfabe. That's what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, it's not.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I didn't really have a larger point.
No, but I think that was good. Good point. Good point.
Yeah.
Good point, Lars.
Thank you. I think a good point to end that part of the discussion.
Can I end it with a song?
Sure.
All right. Oh. Well, let me try my keyboard.
You didn't have it on the ready?
No. Ooh. Hey. Yeah. Okay. Keem Fucktila. I can't believe it. How do I turn this off? Stop!
Keem Fucktila. I can't believe it. How do I turn this
How do I
off?
turn this off?
That's a great song.
Thank
the
you.
lyrics are simple. It's catchy. I think it's a perfect length of time for a TikTok. I think you're good.
That's my version of Hose Mad.
What do you think of this, by the way, Josh? I'm going to just get a read on this because, okay, so like, this is Bowblax's kind of running gag. What do you think of it?
Making a song on the spot. I mean, I hope he's done it. Are the lyrics always that like scuffed and out of sync and like, like completely?
What are you talking about? Hey.
I feel like sometimes it could be like accidentally great. So I'm
Oh, it
like
was,
wondering
dude.
if they're.
Yeah. So the last episode we talked about how like we thought that maybe the term Yankee for Americans.
No.
Okay, so in the UK they call Americans Yankees. It's like from the 1700s, and we kind of hypothesized that maybe that was like a masturbation euphemism, like those American masturbators. And then Bowblax did craft out a really good song about like the Yankee Doodle dandies getting their handies. It was pretty good.
Oh,
There was
hell
Yankee
yeah.
doodling his dandies.
Giving out.
That was pretty
man.
clever.
Hell yeah.
we can come up with a song right now about.
Yeah, let's do a song. Let's do a song next ad break, I think.
Okay.
No, fuck it,
All right.
dude. Another ad break. They need more ads. We need more money. I'm just
Need
All right.
more ads.
All right, so let's say that like if we can't talk about Keemstar or Leafy for the rest of the episode, what else should we talk about? Because I feel like that's going to dominate the entire episode if we don't.
fuck. That's my whole channel. That's my whole identity. Who else? Ethan? No, I'm just kidding. That'd be another rabbit hole.
Well,
Right.
I guess we could talk about the Goon Squad, as you guys are
The Goon
referred to.
Squad.
I don't
Can
even-
we do a mini segment first? Because I wanted to bring
Oh.
something up.
Sure.
Okay.
Another song?
Are you guys aware that Iceberg Lettuce just got canceled?
What?
You mean
Explain
is
the
that like a
sentence
musician
again.
or do you mean lettuce?
I'm look in the chat right now. I went ahead and posted a link. Yeah, it's like Iceberg Lettuce is done in America.
Did Iceberg Lettuce say a racial slur?
I don't know. Like I just saw this on Twitter.
America has
Like a
lost
couple
its
hours ago.
taste for iceberg lettuce.
What
Yeah.
fucking taste? It has no taste. It's never had taste. It's been
Holy
fucking
shit.
tastes like
No,
water.
but this is like a big deal. There are hundreds of articles.
Hey, oh my god, there's a whole article, and the article starts off by saying, "It is quite possible 2020 will be remembered as a turning point in American history, a moment after which our country became irreversibly different from what it has been before." And then they talk about lettuce. Okay, that's the turning point? The lettuce?
Yeah, I definitely think that 2020 will be remembered as the lettuce year. That's the
Yeah.
thing that people will remember from this year.
30 years from now. It all went to shit when we lost Iceberg.
They stopped putting lettuce in our burgers.
All right, guys. So okay. So what's your take on this? Like, what is your? How do you guys feel about losing lettuce?
I could respond to that in song form. Hold on. Let me get a good how about Urban Dance number 2? All right. This one's for Iceberg. Iceberg, I lost you. I miss you. I want you on my sandwich, bitch. You taste like water, but that's okay. You taste like water.
lettuce.
You said it tastes like water, and that's it.
That was my favorite one yet. That was catchy too.
Thank you.
Now, if we dissect the importance of lettuce for a second, lettuce is probably most used on burgers. That's the number one thing I think of when there's lettuce. Obviously, sandwiches as well.
Salads?
But what's the least important part of a burger? I would say the least important part of a burger, other than tomato, might be the lettuce. Because there has been some good burgers without lettuce. But has there been good burgers without the meat?
Onion!
Oh, onion? I get...
Onion!
Guess
Wait,
onion.
you say onion is the least important?
Yeah, I don't think it matters at all.
Probably.
What?
I think it's onion... Well, what are we considering a full burger? Because, like, you could be like, oh, bacon is the least important, but not every burger has bacon as well. Like,
Right.
Here, I'm gonna lay some groundwork. Okay, so brass tacks, you have to have bun. Ass snacks. Brass tacks. You have to have the bun and the burger itself, like the patty. It's a weak-ass burger, but those are the things that are essential. Everything else is technically optional.
I would say the core of a burger is definitely the bun, the meat, the condiment, the lettuce, and the cheese. And out of all those core ingredients, I think the lettuce would possibly be the least important.
Well, Bowblax, you're about to be wrong on a podcast, because if you go to McDonald's, they don't automatically have lettuce on their burgers.
Right.
Do they not?
Because it's the least important part.
They do, well, some of them do, but the basic burgers don't. In fact, they have onions, so I guess they are essential. Fuck.
Yeah. Wait, how does that make Bowblax wrong?
It doesn't.
I think you're wrong.
I was just trying to trip him up.
A lot of the burgers, like the value meal burgers, like if you're getting a Big Mac or a McChicken or a Quarter Pounder or whatever, it'll have lettuce.
Yeah, but if you get their hamburger or their cheeseburger, it doesn't.
But who gets that shit? That's like the back alley menu of McDonald's that no one pays attention to. It's all about the value meals.
No, it's not. Those are the if it fits your macros, like life hack burgers that are really like nutritionally like complete for dieting at that point. Are you kidding me?
Who goes to McDonald's and worries about macros?
I go to McDonald's to diet, dude. I don't know.
I did when I lost a shitload of weight. I lost a lot of it by eating McDonald's.
I balance the calorie. I look at the calories on the McDonald's menu and balance them.
Yeah, it was very helpful.
I get the salads at McDonald's. I don't know.
So
Canadian McDonald's has a bit of a different menu, so it's like,
I
don't know what differences there would be, but
is Canada one of those countries that their McDonald's has like spaghetti and shit?
No, but it does have smaller sizes. Actually, every restaurant in America versus Canada has like a size smaller in terms of drinks across the board. So when I got a medium in America, I thought I was getting a Canadian medium. It just didn't click in my brain when it was in America. And then I was like, why the fuck is this a large? And my friend's like, dude, it's a medium. And I'm like, what? Wait, what are the larges then? What the fuck?
America doesn't hate freedom. They want you to have as much soda as you want.
Yeah, because here in Canada, getting a small soda is like a meme, dude. Like, no one would ever do that because it's just so fucking small. But I guess in America, it would be a legitimate choice because that would be a medium in Canada, which is what most people get.
Yeah.
Here, so.
Hey, you know what's funny? Speaking of drink sizes.
I don't understand. Yeah, go ahead.
That the large is cheaper than any of the other sizes.
Yeah.
And it's not even just at McDonald's. Yeah, it's like you can go to like a gas station. Like, let's say you go to 7-Eleven, right? You want to get like a soda. Like every size is going to be like, I think it's 39 cents or 69 cents, whatever. But it's the same price across the board. You go to McDonald's, a large drink is 99 cents, but a small drink is like $1.50.
What?
Well, actually, in my area, it's just at McDonald's, everything's $1 in terms of drinks.
Really?
So it's like it doesn't save you any money to get the smaller one. Also, who in their right mind gets a small soda? Like that is a one drink. That's like one sip.
Yeah, well, I do if I'm like treating myself, and I'm like, well, I'll just get a little tiny Sprite. Just drink this thing up real quick. Just slurp it down.
Amir, I really hope your quality of life improves from that. That sounds terrible. I'll just give myself the slightest crumb of delights. Like
just a little bit. Just a little, like that Drake meme where he like explodes into like a jigsaw puzzle. Like that's it for me, but only from the waist down because I'm only having a small Sprite.
All right.
Yeah, well, as I said, like a small Sprite in America is like a medium here, so think. I don't know. I haven't had the direct comparison. Someone just put
Wait, no,
image
Amir
in
just
chat,
posted
it's
it.
giving me,
No,
making me doubt myself.
Amir, Bowblax was
What?
wrong. I can prove it because we were talking about how he said that lettuce was essential for a burger, and McDonald's burgers do not necessarily have it. Boom, game, set, match.
Oh, wait, I thought Bowblax said that.
Yeah, that's what I'm
lettuce
saying.
was
Like, lettuce is the
not-
least important
Yeah.
out of the
Oh, okay.
core. So that's what I'm saying. If you had to remove any from the list I said, lettuce would be my first choice. Because in my opinion, what makes like a good, like solid base burger is bun, meat, lettuce, cheese, and condiment. And
Okay.
the first thing I would remove would be the lettuce.
All right, let's piss off Dojangles, who's listening in right now, and let's make a tier list here for the ingredients. Okay,
Oh,
so obviously you need, I think, the meat. She says no. She was complaining about that on Twitter today, which I kind of agree with. I feel like I saw like 18 tier lists today in the span of like 5 minutes on Twitter. I don't
I'm
know
surprised
why.
that those are still a thing.
Tier list?
Yeah.
They research every year. I feel.
Yeah.
I've had them research like 3 or 4 times since I've been a commentator and I've been on the list.
Well,
Yeah,
how about
it's-
this? How about instead of making it a tier list, let's just say from like top to bottom. I would say the meat is most important, then the bun, then what else? What's the next one?
The grilled onions.
I'm gonna say the condiment.
Oh, the grilled onions is technically a condiment. At least the
I
way
like
I
grilled
make
onions.
it. The best.
Now,
Bowblax, any thoughts?
yeah, I do have some thoughts. So McDonald's themselves don't consider the meat the most important part, which you think is the most important part of the burger. Because here is an option on the Canadian menu. I'm going to put it in the recording chat that you can actually
Oh,
get.
Big Mac,
God.
no meat.
So
It's just a salad
now
sandwich.
I don't know if that's available in America, but it's like for vegetarians. You know how everyone's like introducing like Beyond Burger or an Impossible Burger for vegetarians? McDonald's was just like, fuck it. Big Mac, no meat, dude. Here's your vegetarian option. It's just like,
Here, boneless Big Mac.
holy shit, dude. I would think the meat's the most important part, even over the bun, maybe. I mean, obviously, bun's the
Yeah.
most and second most important.
I feel like if I ate that, I would get depression because like it's literally just
Immediately.
Thousand Island dressing and iceberg lettuce.
Yeah.
Like it's so sad.
And apparently this isn't available in America because America has lost its taste for iceberg lettuce. Canada, on the other hand, they love their iceberg lettuce and their 3 buns and cheese and fucking sauce. So, dude, that shit would be so soggy. You just get it. I could like imagine like bunching it up in like a fist, you know? Because like,
I'm surprised that they just call it Big Mac, no meat. Like In-N-Out. First of all, it sounds like a joke name, Big Mac, no meat. But like, if you go to like an In-N-Out here in California, like they have a version of their burger with like no meat, but they call it a grilled cheese, not a burger, no meat.
Wait, so your argument is that a grilled cheese is named wrong?
No, I'm saying that McDonald's is kind of they're kind of funny with their naming conventions on that one. Big Mac, no meat.
yeah,
What do you think they should call it?
Because it was like the laziest shit ever. Like they did it for the vegetarians, and they didn't even bother giving it a name. Like the
Thousand Island disappointment or something?
The Mick Bun Lettuce or something. They didn't even like make it like a fancy name. They're just like, yeah, here's a no meat version. You fucking.
Can I get a McBun with dressing, please?
I like Thousand Island Disappointment. That was a good one.
Holy shit. I don't know who would buy that. To this day, I know lots of vegetarians. I don't know anybody who bought this or has eaten this unless they're doing it for a meme. I know people have ordered like Big Mac no meat and then removed like optional remove bun, optional remove lettuce just to see what comes, and it's just like a box or something. I know people have done that for a meme, but besides that, I've never seen anyone order this shit.
Yeah, I feel like McDonald's just does it just so they could put in their commercials, we have vegan options too.
Is
Yeah,
Thousand Island
probably.
vegan?
You
'Cause
show up and it's just Big Mac,
yeah.
no meat.
Because vegetarianism and veganism is like a very big thing where I am, so it's probably just did that for inclusivity or something. I don't know.
Are Canadians very health conscious?
Oh yeah, that's a good question.
Well, I can't speak for all of Canada, but in the Vancouver area, which is kind of the more liberal area, it's it's basically Canadian LA, Vancouver, essentially.
Yeah.
Especially since they shoot a lot of movies there. But a lot of people are like sushi, vegan, weed. Yeah.
Sounds like California.
Yeah.
Hey,
California
Bowblax,
Junior.
by the way, I'm going to give you permission for the rest of the episode to speak on behalf of all of Canada. Like, I grant you that. So
Okay.
go ahead and use that.
I'm
That's
sorry
fine.
for everyone on the east coast of Canada. I know it might be a little different, but I've never been to Toronto outside of being in the airport for a layover. So
Mhm.
I don't know. So I'll only speak for the Vancouver area. But yeah, it's
Moderator
a lot of
Ken
sushi,
says you got the
weed,
Canada pass.
sushi, weed, and vegetarianism, and diversity, and acceptance, which is nice. It's actually nice.
Of
Yeah.
all the passes you can get, I feel like the speaking on behalf of Canada pass is probably the least controversial to give.
Yeah. I feel like I could give that out.
Yeah, it's not like I'm speaking on behalf of the entire white race or something like crazy.
But I mean, you could if you wanted to.
Oh, I give you permission to speak on behalf of all the white race, by the way. Like,
Okay.
go ahead and do that for the rest of the episode. That's fine.
White people are all privileged pieces of shit that are racist towards every other race from birth. We have privilege oozing out of our skin. We... No, I don't know.
I mean,
I feel like,
we gave him the pass.
Lars, when you edit this, make sure you put like really patriotic music behind that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Beautiful speech in the making.
What's next, guys? We talked about Keemstar and having sex with Eli. We talked about burger tiers. We talked about...
I have
What
a
else do we
question.
need to talk about? Yeah.
What does Bowblax mean?
Oh, that's a good question. It is a mixture between Bowser and the Emperor Bowblax from Pikmin, which is the final boss of Pikmin. And the way I came up with that
Oh.
name is actually through a naming contest. So there was a person who was going to have a new channel, and they were doing a contest for names, and they said, just mix two things together, like Blue and Luigi, to make Bluigi, for example. And he wants like a name along those lines. So I submitted a name suggestion, which was Bowser and Emperor Bowblax mixed together for Bowblax. And he took it, but he interpreted it as Bowblax, Bow from Legend of Zelda, and then Emperor Bowblax. And I liked how that sounded
Oh.
better. And since he didn't take the username, it came in second place. I was like, okay, for my second channel or my backup channel, I'm going to name it Bowblax. So if I ever lose my main channel, I can have that backup. And I did because I was using a school email for it, and I stopped going to the school, so I lost access to the email. And I used that channel, and I've used it ever since. So,
By the way,
Oh.
there's a group of drummers outside right now, so if that gets picked up on my audio, I'm sorry. I don't know what to do about that. I don't know why they're here. I don't know why people are going down the street drumming right now.
They're coming for you.
I guess the pitchforks are out. My time is done.
yeah. But,
That's interesting. I didn't know that's where that was derived from.
That's actually the only reason we actually had you come on. We wanted to figure that mystery. So I think we can end the episode now. Thank you for coming on.
the biggest
No,
mystery. Yeah.
Let's keep going.
What I did
did
when I
it.
was younger is that I was obviously trying to get into the Nintendo Let's Play community specifically. So whenever someone did a Let's Play of Pikmin and they talked about the Bowblax, if they said Bowblax, I knew they've heard of me before, because what tends to happen if you start reading my username a lot is that when you talk about the Bowblaxes from Pikmin, you accidentally say Bowblax if you're talking too quickly. If you know my name. So I was like, oh, this person might know me and not mention it because they said Bowblax. It could have been a slip of the tongue. I don't know, but I always found that. I always used to do that when I was younger. But yeah, I mean, speaking of Pikmin and Bowblax, I love the Pikmin franchise. It's still my favorite Nintendo franchise, and a lot of my channel up until I switched to drama was heavily based off Pikmin and that whole franchise. And then Nintendo didn't release a new game in the series for 7 years, and I'm like, fuck it, I'll read tweets. But yeah,
Yeah, I do notice you definitely tweet a lot about Pikmin.
yeah,
I've never played Pikmin, unfortunately. Well, no, I played a little bit of it when I was a kid, but I don't really like remember it too much. I just know like you run around as like that.
Isn't Pikmin isn't it kind of like Pokemon? Like they sound the same. I think they have like similar gameplay or something.
No,
they
you,
don't have
you like
similar
run around.
gameplay.
Yeah, no, you run
Oh,
around
okay.
as like a little astronaut guy. He's in Smash.
Yeah,
Is it Olimar?
yeah, he's in Smash. It's Olimar in Smash. So that's
Yeah, and You have like the little bean sprout guys. I forget what you do with them. I just know they follow you around. That's all I remember.
Yeah. You basically, the goal of the game is to collect either ship parts or treasure or fruit, and you use the guys to carry them back to the base and to fight enemies along the way. And you can use the corpses of the enemies to bring them back to the base and sprout more Pikmin. So it's kind of like a real-time strategy adventure game because you have like these 100 Pikmin you're controlling, but it's kind of like in a third-person adventure style, like if you're playing Zelda or Mario. So it's kind of like a real-time strategy, but it's more simplified and it's more of just like a video game rather than like a big menu with all these options and powers. It's more
Nintendo.
Make the guys, get the guys to do stuff, make more guys carry stuff to beat the game, and yeah. It's really fun. I like it a lot.
That was actually my intention there, by the way, to ask the dumbest question I could possibly think of. Like, obviously, Pikmin and Pokemon aren't the same game because they have similar names. I was just trying to...
It's still collecting creatures and using them to fight, so I guess it's similar in that regard.
I guess they're technically the same game.
Dude, I feel like Pikmin would be a big franchise, but they always, like, get screwed over in some way, like, the Pikmin franchise started on the GameCube, which is the least selling, or one of the least selling GameCube consoles, the GameCube for Nintendo. And then
the GameCube is one of the worst selling GameCube consoles of all time.
Yeah, it was one of the least selling consoles, especially for that generation. And then the third game came onto the Wii U, and we all know how that went. So I don't know. I think Pikmin's like super fun gameplay, first of all, and I think it's also super appealing because like these cute little Pikmin guys. I think it could have potentially been, maybe not, obviously not as big as Pokemon, but I always compare it to Pokemon because it's like, it's cute creatures that battle for you, you know? That you raise. So I feel like if Pikmin were on more successful consoles, maybe people would get into it and play it more. But I don't know. Maybe the gameplay isn't appealing to everyone. I have no idea, but I feel like a lot of people would like Pikmin. They just haven't tried it. So
I think Nintendo is really bad with pushing its IP sometimes. Like if it's not Mario, it's like they don't really do much with it. Like a franchise like Pikmin, you know, because they've made what, 3, right? 3 Pikmins. I feel like Nintendo needs to like release more games that are more niche and not so Fire Emblem.
Yeah,
or,
actually...
No, I'm thinking of Smash, because they release a lot of characters from Fire Emblem. Yeah. But
it's
they don't
funny
do a lot
you
of
bring up Fire Emblem, because Fire Emblem was just as obscure as something like Pikmin or F-Zero or Earthbound, but once Fire Emblem Awakening came out, it became way more popularized, and then a bunch more games came out and a bunch more representation in Smash. And the same thing happened with Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing wasn't that big on the GameCube, got a bit bigger on the DS, got bigger on the Wii, but it really popped off when it came to the 3DS, and now on the Switch, it's like one of the best-selling games. So I think that just like those franchises, Pikmin has a lot of potential, but it just hasn't had that game at the right time, the right console for the series to get big.
Which that's Nintendo's fault. They shouldn't be
it definitely is.
Closeting an IP because it released on a shitty console.
Well, it's not Mario or Zelda, so.
All right, guys, I have a topic for you.
I got stats for you.
And a couple topics. This one's a goofy one. And that's going to be this is like a task-based segment. And I'm going to have you guys do something. Okay. And I think Bowblax is probably going to be able to do this one off rip, just because he's got that kind of brain. But I'm curious to hear both of your answers here.
Okay.
Let's do it. So suppose there was a sequel to The Moon.
Okay.
What would it be called, and what would it be like?
Leaf.
Leaf? A sequel to The Moon?
Yeah, I just looked around my office. I just saw a plant. Leaf.
Why?
With how he hyped you up to have a good answer, I was expecting something a little more elaborate and thought out than Leaf.
Right, you're right. I'm going to change my answer. The Moon 2.
The Moon 2?
Yeah.
Now,
what's The Moon 2 like?
I'm imagining it to be like the evil moon, so it's like red.
Oh my god!
It's like
got like a
emitting
mustache.
some kind of no. Yeah, it's a big ass mustache on its stratosphere or other space word. I'm picturing it to be red, and it's got like
Other space word.
it's got like it's emitting gases that like it's inhabitable to people if you really wanted to.
Okay.
Oh, so it's like a good moon.
Well, no, it's the evil moon, I guess. Or
It's an
the
evil
current
moon
moon
where
is
it's
the
like you
evil
can
moon.
live
We would
there.
rename the current moon to make it evil.
Okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't have
I like
Because you
that.
can't live on the
I
moon.
like that story arc better. Our current moon is evil, and the moon 2 would come to save us.
Yeah.
Moon
Save
2
us
redemption
from
arc.
the
Okay.
polluted
Yeah.
Earth. Yeah,
Passion
what I
of the
was
Christ
thinking
moon.
was more practical. I was just like, oh, lots of planets have another moon. It would just be another moon, maybe slightly different color, maybe looking a bit more like Mars. And it would be next to our moon, so it would block the sun more often, so the nights would be longer. That's
okay.
it. That's all I thought.
I thought you were going to say like the moon would have its own moon. So it'd be like Moon
Oh.
2 or like Moon Squared or something.
No, I was thinking the Earth having a second moon. Although the moon having its own
Okay.
little moon would be cool.
Yeah.
Its own little
Little
day-night
moonlight?
cycle to block out the sun.
And that
Yeah.
moon had its own moon.
Oh,
So
there's
on and
just
so
a
forth.
million little moons. And it just turns into little pebbles circling around each other by the end of it.
You just
I
smack
like that.
asteroids every time we make a rotation. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
So
I feel like it would just look like
you know-
anal beads floating in space.
yeah,
The big
Like,
trail
progressively
of
smaller
circling
ones.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like an onyx from Pokemon.
Oh yeah.
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 Space
It's
Onyx.
trailing off.
Space on it.
Circling. Yeah.
All right, Amir, I'm going to give you another chance to rename it, by the way.
Okay.
Like,
thank
you had a
my
decent
brain
idea.
died on the last one.
Yeah, you called it the Moon 2, which
Yeah.
I think you can do better.
I think I can. Oh wait. Are you gonna ask me another question?
No, I'm giving you a chance to rename it.
Oh,
again.
the same one. Oh, okay. Oh fuck. Globo.
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 Globo sounds like it's chubby, I think.
I mean, it is. It's a mass. It's got mass.
All right. Oh, are you guys okay? So, are you familiar? There's an old meme on the show which I want to introduce you guys to, which is
Okay.
that. Okay, so you know how there's the flat Earth quote unquote theory.
Right.
Yeah, dude.
Okay, so I came up with a take on it, and I'm sure this has been done before. Like, this is probably not an original. I'm sure like thousands of people have come up with it. But I think it'd be interesting to start spreading the fat Earth theory, which is that because people are getting so obese, like the Earth is like in danger of falling out of the sky.
The fat Earth theory.
Yeah,
We're putting too much weight on the Earth. It'll just collapse in on itself.
Yeah.
it's gonna
The
fall
Earth
down
is
someday.
shrinking
Yeah,
because we're moving the ground closer to the center. And then eventually, in 1,000 years, as we get more and more obese, it'll just be like a red ball of lava and we'll all melt.
Yeah.
Or we'll have so much fat that our fat mass will turn into the new Earth and replace the current ground, and we'll be just walking on a bunch of fat people.
I feel
I
like
thought you
we'd
meant
be
like
living
we
in a
would
bounce
condense
house.
into becoming like the new Earth ourselves. Like the totality of fat humans would become the new planet.
Oh,
I always
was
say we should
thinking
recycle
of the
dead
fat
people.
humans would weigh down the Earth and like shrink the dirt all the way to the core, and then they'd all melt.
Yeah.
Then it resurfaces as a brand new planet that animals can, jump around on and evolve from. But it was all based on fat human flesh instead of dirt
Mhm.
and grass.
Yeah,
Yeah, the grass would be
it's a very
hair.
squishy planet.
Grass would be hair.
Yeah.
Uh,
Gross.
I like
the
Jesus,
plants
I
would
like
be
sounding
little
macabre.
dicks, but obviously the animals won't know.
this sounds
That's
like
getting
an
that's getting a little
environment.
more crazy. The eyes on the ground, it's just like, the little pebbles in their eyeballs.
Yeah, then the hills really could have eyes.
This sounds like an environment from like Spy Kids or something.
Wait, really?
I think this is a great pitch for a movie.
Yeah.
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 We're geniuses.
What would the movie be
Just
called?
A ball of flesh with like a
be
million
called
eyes and a
Fat
million
Earth.
dicks.
Fat Earth.
As he was
Can I write
saying,
the theme
Fat
song?
Earth Theory. The theme song to the movie. We could make it
I'm
a
gonna write the
TV
theme
show.
song.
If there's enough
Oh
lore
yeah.
to expand it.
Oh,
Yeah.
a Netflix original.
We have people travel into the future only to find out that it's a post-apocalyptic Earth made up of fat people, and there's no humans left, only the new creatures from the planet. And it'd probably be like in like bigger versions of like fleas or like lice or whatever, like stuff that lives on humans, but just like big
in
and
the hair,
large.
like in the grass.
So like a
like
big
lice
mosquito.
the size of like jaguars or something.
Yeah.
That'd be fucking
They'd
cool,
have to
dude.
fend for themselves on this planet, and they'd be like freaked out, like eyeballs on the ground. But
Wait, what if this is actually already true though?
Yeah,
Like, what if
wait,
what our
what-
planet is now?
what if the previous people were dirt and grass?
Yeah,
That's their hair. And
Oh.
pulling out their hair and stuff.
and the jaguars that we see today are actually lice.
And the trees are their dicks.
What if we're all just fucking tripping balls and then nothing is real?
This actually does sound like something someone would come up with after like an edible. So that's actually pretty accurate.
Yeah, I lost the plot.
I'm completely sober. So I don't know.
Yeah. Bowblax theme song.
Oh. No, I don't like that one. Hold on. Let me find a good one. Hold
It's
on.
got to be something slow moving.
Yeah. Oh, it's too fast. Too fast. Too happy. Oh, here we go. Okay. Fat Earth. Lice the size of jaguars. Fat Earth. What rhymes with jaguars? The floor is made of people. Everybody's dead. I like this beat change. Hold on, let me find it. Hair made out of grass, or grass made out of hair. But this hair is curly. I'm stepping in pubes. That one was bad. I didn't like that at all.
I'm stepping in pubes. It's a little.
It's chaotic. I can appreciate it.
Thanks. I can do a slower one.
Yeah, that's okay. I have an actual like serious question about content creation I want to get into.
Are you sure?
You sure you don't
Yeah.
want to continue talking about grass pubes?
Hair and like human dick flesh like
Yeah.
planets. Yeah, I think I'm okay.
Fleshy fat
I think we
planet.
can move on.
Diabetes.
I live in the beautiful country of foreskin.
Oh.
Yeah.
I sing you the song of my people.
Should we destroy the foreskin or keep it? That would be like a very politically controversial part of the planet.
Circumcision is like a bill that needs to get passed.
Circumcision is like mass genocide for that one part of the planet. So it's like no. So if you're like it's like Nazi. Oh my god.
Foreskin Holocaust. Yeah, I
There's
can
a
see it.
whole war over it.
Rock in the chat says mining for schmegma.
Jesus. Okay,
my
new
God.
topic.
Yeah, dude, our creative minds are just going crazy with this idea.
Oh god.
Okay.
Sorry.
Someone said nationalized foreskin. I'm gonna pin that out of context in the chat. All right.
Foreskin
So-
lives matter.
All right. Enough, guys. Wow.
So
Okay.
fucking
God.
dumb. Okay.
Yeah.
We really went with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lars, you were
Okay.
going to try to change the subject before I interrupted with my song.
Okay. So you're sitting here with I don't remember the
My
exact
dick in
number.
my hand. What?
Just leave him out to dry for that for a few more seconds.
I'm trying
Okay,
desperately not to follow up on that, by the way.
All right. You guys really want to talk about dicks, it seems. Okay, so I'm going to take a sip of the cold one. Get some energy back. Okay, so you're sitting at, I think, this is a guess here, 212,000 subscribers?
217,000.
Okay, pretty close.
Yeah.
I guess that there's not really like a specific question here, but can you talk a little bit about like your journey up the ranks of that, and maybe just like give any insights you have in terms of like the lessons that you've learned, and because a lot of these episodes, like the people are really interested in like the process of the content creation and the rising of the ranks. So I'm kind of curious to hear your tale on that.
Yeah, you want to hear more about like the actual content I was making, or more just like how my channel has grown and why that happened and stuff like that?
I'd like to talk about both.
Okay.
And I think we'll probably have time to do so.
So, I mean, I could talk about my first 8 years, but that is generally uneventful in terms of growth. I only went from 1,000, or from zero, obviously I didn't start 1,000, to 4,000 subscribers. Although I did gain the first 1,000 from like 2011 to 2013. So I have had like a fan base to like interact with and get used to during those 8 years. And I learned a lot in those 8 years, especially like, watching other people do content creation, doing content creation myself, seeing other people rise up. As for my own rise, I can't really like give any specific advice that would like help everybody, because everybody's channel is different. Everybody's path to success is going to be a bit different, although there's obviously commonalities across all channels that grow. Specifically, the differences are in the genre. Like, for example, if I had to restart, I think I could make another 200k sub commentary channel. I don't think I could make a 200k sub gaming channel. I don't know if I could do that.
That's actually a good way to phrase the question. Like, if you were to start over today, if you literally just deleted Bowblax and what would you do?
What I would do?
No Blacks.
Well,
No
obviously, I think you're trying to answer that question as in like how I would grow a channel. Because obviously, if my channel got deleted, I would try to get it back. It would be unfairly terminated in some way. I'd try to reach out to people. But I assume you're asking the question in terms of if I never had a channel, but I had all the knowledge I have now.
Yeah, and let's say you're specifically purposely trying to speedrun it.
Oh, if I was trying to speedrun a commentary channel, well, first, I think this is important for any channel, is to find something that people need but don't exist yet, and they don't know they need it. Like, I guess a simple example is like, something you can hold your glasses with, like a little like glasses necklace chain thing, to where it's like, oh, my glasses fall off, and I never thought about having something to stop that fall. But hey, this is an interesting product that I never know I needed. And that's kind of the same thing with YouTube, where it's like, you think you have all the content you want, but then there's like a certain niche that people don't know they want and that you can give to them, which is usually a variation of something that already exists. We rarely see someone grow with like a completely unique idea. Like, obviously my Twitterverse is just like commentary videos, but minus the commentary, So you gotta find out what is like missing within your community and what people think would be useful or interesting to watch, and then start creating that. I think a great example of this actually is Scott the Woz. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Oh yeah.
But he's a gaming creator who has grown rapidly, and I think part of the reason why is because he does do content that's like similar to JonTron or like Cat Icarus or what have you, and he's really good at it. But something he does is he takes topics that are obscure but everybody knows about. Like, for example, video game box art. No one would think about doing a video on video game box art. They just think about, oh, let's do a video on this video game and let's do a video on this video game. But he takes concepts that everybody knows about but nobody has talked about, like used games, box art, something like that, and makes a video out of that. And I think that's a really good example of something that people would want to see, but no one has made it yet. So that would be like my general advice for the type of content you want to create. In terms of like promoting it with the commentary community in particular, I would probably just go on Twitter and interact with people on Twitter. I think that's just a great way to just get your name out there, but without like clout chasing, just being like, oh, I remember that guy replying to my comments or what have you, without being like too obnoxious or over the top. Just try to be like involved in the community, pay attention to what's going on. And I think for commentary in particular, maybe make videos on smaller YouTubers, but YouTubers that people know about. Like, for example, a lot of people know about PewDiePie, but not everybody who knows about PewDiePie knows about me, but a lot more people know about me than like someone starting out. So like, instead of the person starting out making a video on PewDiePie, they would be better off making a video on me, because it's still like a bigger audience than they have, but it's more like niche and not something everybody else is doing. So I think and like that person, like me, I'm more likely to find someone making a video about me than PewDiePie is to find somebody making a video about him, because he has so many videos made about him, he doesn't have time to watch them all. But I am still small enough to where if someone makes a video about me, I can probably see it. But another great tip about getting into the commentary community, which is partly how I did it, is just make a video on Keemstar. Keemstar watches every video that is made about him, literally. It doesn't matter how small you are. I think on Twitter the other day, he replied to a under 1,000 sub YouTuber who made a video about him, calling him stupid in a public Twitter video on his 2 million follower Twitter. And that's huge for that guy.
I'm actually surprised that he didn't, because I was kind of baiting him in the promo tweet for this. I'm surprised he didn't like get upset at that. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
In the tweet?
Yeah.
Because he's usually pretty good at like looking at everything everyone's ever said about him.
I think he has Google alerts on or something. I don't know how he does it.
I think he gets really bored and he just searches up his name, but with upload date in YouTube search. I think that's just how he does it. The first time I was noticed by someone in the commentary community was Keemstar, when I made a video. It was when he was promoting Aiden Projects back at the end of 2017. And I expressed my concerns with that, him being so young and maybe not being able to handle the immediate pressure that comes from 100K people coming to your channel. Obviously, shout out is a net positive, but for like, I don't know. I think for a kid who wants to do YouTube, it's better to like grow up naturally, so they can like get the kinks out in terms of like their presentation or how cringy they might be or what have you. Just being able to learn in an environment that isn't just immediate spotlight on you. So I made a video about that, and he DM'd me saying, I think you're retarded, but I think you have some good points, which is a good compliment from Keem, because normally he just says people are straight up retarded. So that's the first time I guess I got noticed in commentary. But again, I was more focusing on my gaming stuff. Commentary was on the side. So I didn't really get into the community until the Pokemon stuff happened over a year later. But yeah, just a general way of like getting into the community and getting big within the commentary scene is basically all of what I just said. Those are all like really good starting points that worked for me in terms of getting into this community. I would say getting into commentary is way easier than like gaming or something, because it's easier to stand out. Because in commentary, everybody's opinion is different, and everybody cares about an opinion in commentary that holds an intrinsic value. But let's say there's something like gaming, right? Which I have experience in trying to grow in. Once someone makes Let's Play Five Nights at Freddy's, all of the Let's Play Five Nights at Freddy videos are the same. And if you make one that's not inherently like unique, but with a commentary video, no matter what the topic is, you have a unique opinion, and then that holds inherent value.
Yeah, you know, I'm gonna use an example here, because I totally know what you're talking about with the gaming stuff. Dubplex, like, we've had the Russian Badger on pretty recently. Remember that episode?
Yeah.
And I think he's an example of like how you can do it right, where it's like it's very highly edited and really like he'll spend like 14 days on like at 20 minutes of footage and do it right. But unless you stand the fuck out as a gaming channel, that's just like, I feel like that's probably the worst path you can take. Just because like everyone wants to do it, you know, like everyone would love to play video games for a living, but there's just so much samey stuff there.
Yeah, but I think gaming is such like a big. It's almost like, because like you have people who do like gaming retrospectives, you have people who do like just video essays or like reviews. Are you talking like specifically like just Let's Players? Because I feel like in terms of like Russian Badger, like he does like animation, like those little stills and stuff like that. So his stuff is I don't know. It's like almost like you don't even really pay attention to the video game itself.
Right. Well, actually, I would say up until fairly recently that my thoughts on that would be different when it comes to Let's Players versus gaming essays. But boy, over the last year or two, have gaming essays really started to saturate. And there's a lot of great content out there, but a lot of it is just like, there's so many like detailed 1 hour analyses of just about every game at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's actually kind of funny because Let's Plays became saturated, and then a lot of Let's Players who weren't growing switched over to video essays because it was less saturated,
Yeah.
and now there's video essays being saturated, and I think people are kind of jumping back to like Let's Play type content, but more like heavily edited, something like Alpha Rad.
Yeah, but there is something to be said here, by the way, and I'm gonna kind of take a page out of the Create Unknown's book, which is a terrible, awful podcast that you should never subscribe to for the next year. You should never listen to every single episode to get all their quality. I mean, non-quality stuff. Don't go to that podcast, guys. It's good. I mean, it's not that great. I don't know, but on the Create Unknown, when they came on our show, yeah, I would love to have sex with them. They're very handsome men. But jokes aside,
Hate sex because we hate the podcast.
Yeah. I'm going to kiss the fuck out of both of them with anger and aggression.
Because their podcast is so bad.
I'm sure you guys would hate,
but their lips
kind of
are so soft.
A similar style show that kind of talks about in depth about the content creation process. You would never want that, obviously. So don't go check it out. But when they came on our show, they talked about how there is an alternative perspective, which is if you can rid yourself of aspirations of grandeur, that you can carve out a little niche of people where even if you're not doing something super unique, you can find an audience. And pairing that with Let's Plays in particular, I'm just going to say, there is something inherently interesting about watching someone else play a video game. So if you're gonna say to yourself, I know I'm not gonna be a 6-figure sub channel. I know that I'm only probably gonna have a few fans. There can still be joy in that, in creating that content.
Oh, 100%.
I agree.
And I've had that joy for like 8 years, and even now on my Twitch channel, I stream on Twitch frequently, but I only average like less than 100 viewers each stream. And I still have fun with it, and I've had fun doing my gaming stuff when I had under 4,000 subscribers for 8 years. So, just have fun.
I think having fun with it is the biggest. And I can actually speak from personal experience. I don't want to plug myself here, but I have a video coming out tomorrow, right? And I haven't uploaded in a bit because the last video I did was like fucking huge. It took forever. But this one, I just had fun. It's a video about Ronald McDonald, but it's like, I haven't had this much fun making a video in a long time. But the only reason it's like that is because I was like, like I'm not going to care about growth or anything. I'm just going to make a video that's like just fun to make. And I feel like through that, I've been able to kind of like rekindle that like love for content creation. So I think just stepping back to begin with and just immediately going in and just like, I'm gonna have fun with this shit. I'm not gonna worry about numbers. I think that ultimately does kind of amount to the best way to go about it.
Yeah,
Sorry,
you definitely need to have that mindset, and you got to do it for fun. Because I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like I retweet, and sometimes there's certain topics that people expect me to cover, and I feel an obligation to cover. And I'm a little out of it, and I don't want to cover it, but I gotta get it out within the time frame of it being fresh, and I kind of force myself to do it in a way. But then I also have stuff to fall back on that I do have a lot of fun with, in particular Augie's podcast After Hours, and maybe doing my Twitch streams or what have you. So even though I do have like that stressful type of I don't really want to do it, I'm kind of more doing it as a job or what have you moments with my main channel, which is not majority of the time at all. It's just sometimes. I still have that passionate thing to fall back on, that where I'm not necessarily as worried about the views, and I'm more just like having fun with it. Purely.
Yeah. Just to pull it back in real quick to what Bowblax was saying a second ago, by the way, I've taken the liberty of pulling out an out of context clip from like a preview of that video you sent me. And I think we should take a second to listen to it. I'll put this in post. So let's take 4 seconds to press the play button.
Okay.
I highly suggest you tie your urethras in a knot because I do not want any leakage on my carpet.
Can you explain, please?
That's a good clip.
Can you explain, though?
No.
Gotta watch the video.
Yeah,
you gotta watch the video.
YouTube.com/Bowblax.
TV. I couldn't
TV.
secure Bowblax, unfortunately.
Yeah, there is a Doplex, and it's not him, unfortunately.
Yeah.
For the URL.
So Bowblax, if you're listening, fuck you.
Yeah.
Give me
Doesn't he
my
have, like,
give me my
50
goddamn
subscribers,
URL.
too?
Huh?
They're probably
Yeah.
all subs thinking it was you. I don't
They're
know.
like, I thought this guy
Unless
was a
he has
lot more
content,
popular.
I don't know if he
Yeah.
has content, but
Oh, he's a DJ. Oh, electronic music. Interesting.
Lovely.
Oh, it's songs about smoking weed. Wow. That's what that other Bowblax does.
well, I prefer songs about lettuce and people and Flesh Planet.
Speaking
I
of
think I know
names,
which
by the way,
Doplex I prefer.
Right.
Bowblax, you got some good SEO with your name. I just want to put that out there. Like, ain't nobody named Bowblax on the internet. Otherwise, that's like
Yeah.
a good unique name to have.
Yeah, and I
It's
like
hard.
it because it's not like, the gamer 123. It's just like one word, which I
The
like.
gamer.
Like you could make this the name of a store. My username. It's just like one simple word that is relatively unique and doesn't sound like most other things.
What
Yeah.
would they sell it at Bowblax?
What would they sell at? Someone changed my name to the gamer 123. That's a great username. I don't know. The X in it. It seems. I think it would be like a convenience store.
I'm imagining like an anthropology.
I was thinking like a convenience store or maybe an electronics store, but maybe that's like projecting myself on it a little too much. Maybe a clothing store. Because I'm just thinking of something simple like Walmart or like
Walmart.
Macy's or something. Just simple one word store brand.
Yeah.
What would you sell it at
Bowblax.
Doplex?
Vials of piss and shit.
I would sell. Okay.
but
Yeah.
marked up
Sure. That's
a
unique.
lot.
Oh,
Yeah, but
so
it-
gourmet piss and shit.
I'll have celebrity
from
piss
celebrities.
and shit. That'd
Yeah.
be very high quality piss and shit. Yeah.
Mhm.
It'd be
Yeah.
specific for fetishes. It's like, oh yeah, I'd love to have fucking some popular fucking Logan Paul's piss all over me or something. I don't know.
It's a store that sells YouTuber excrement.
Yeah.
By the way, clip that quote from Bowblax out of context for later. What would they sell at the first? Well, that doesn't make any sense. Obviously, like that name doesn't work.
Hi,
All right.
welcome to the first podcast. Can I get you a drink?
What if it was just like a hamburger store or something that was
Just called the
inexplicably
first
named?
podcast.
Yeah.
Or just
Table for two?
It's just like a fucking restaurant called the Shoe Store and it has nothing to do with shoes. Just-
Yeah.
I could totally see like some hipster ass neighborhood having that.
Absolutely.
Let's
That
just
would
go
actually
to the
work.
shoe store and it's just a restaurant. There's no shoe themed things whatsoever. It just
Yeah.
happens to be called the shoe store.
Just to piss people off. I could see it.
Yeah.
All right.
All
I
right.
think we should do like one more topic and then we can call it.
Okay. Should I
Doplex,
start the
do you
next
have
topic
any
with a
of
song?
your do you have any of your tried and true segments prepared, by the way?
Oh, yeah. Let me pull it up. I didn't pull it up before. In the meantime, while I pull this up, I'll entertain you guys with a song. Going through my folders, trying to find this shit. I have a segment. Fuck. God damn it, I can't make a song and look through my desktop at the same time. And I
Yeah,
can't
this
rhyme.
is really impractical.
Fuck, let me stop because I can't multitask. Balls. What am I looking for? That's the segment. You're supposed to tolerate
You looking
me
for questions?
not knowing what I'm doing. Yeah, that was the segment.
No, but like, do you have any of your Doplex questions to ask?
Well, yeah, I do. So, Bowblax, I'm gonna get your thoughts on this image. So I want you to point your peepers to the recording chat, and I'm gonna send an image, and then I just need your like initial thoughts.
Okay. My immediate
If it's-
thoughts. Just right
Yeah.
off
This is the crap
gate.
picture again.
It's not.
It's an octopus. It's tentacles.
And,
That's-
and how does it make you feel, like on
Well,
a deep level?
I guess the lady who's with the tentacle is happy and content, at least in some way. As she looks like deep down she's not content with her tentacle companion, but she would probably say to your face that she is fine with it.
Yeah.
That's kind of racist, though. I don't know. Unless there's just some marital issues that are completely unrelated to the tentacle head.
Yeah.
Duplex, I was going to say, isn't this from the beta for Octodad? Like, this is just a screenshot from a game.
Yeah, it does kind of look like live action Octodad.
Yeah.
All right. Here's another message. Fucking image. God, my brain is fucking fried. All right. Here we go.
Okay, so it's a hot dog eating a hot dog. That's cannibalism. That's fucked. I don't agree with cannibalism. I don't think eating your own kind is good at all. Although, if you feed chicken nuggets to a chicken, I'm pretty sure they will peck on it, which is kind of fucked. So
then they'll make
similar.
Then they'll make a movie about it called The Social Network. That was a weird part of that movie. Why does the hot dog that's eating the hot dog have mayonnaise on his hot dog?
That's his spit.
It is?
I'm guessing.
This is horrible. That's horrifying.
It can't eat. How would it be able to chew it?
Oh yeah.
Well, is it
Maybe
necessarily
they're just hugging each other. Maybe it's just a warm embrace. It's not to us. It looks like eating, but there's nothing to chew it. So maybe they're just like kind of hugging each other and embracing each other.
Is this how hot dogs have sex?
Yeah, is this hot dog sex?
Could be. I was thinking more like kangaroo pouch kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like that's his child.
Oh, that's why there's the lubricant, because kangaroo pouches are all gross and slimy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, last one, and then we can call it a night.
Oh, one of those balls, but a full human suit for that. Is that like a motion trait? Why would someone wear that? Guess to like stop their fall. They like trip a lot.
Or it could be a fetish thing.
Ooh, yeah, probably. Is that like a bunch of condoms or?
Maybe. I don't know. Spiky condom. It's like maybe it's a dominatrix thing.
A lot of the times that Amir posts a picture for this segment, like I can never tell what the materials are.
Yeah.
Or just like where it could even possibly have come from. In fact, I just worry that he has these saved.
Why did someone make that though? Is it like Halloween? Or
maybe
probably BDSM fetish type.
Yeah. I feel like anytime I see an image that I don't understand, my first instinct is like, oh, it's probably fetish.
Yeah.
Somebody probably gets off to that.
It might also be a situation where it's like the question, why did someone make this, was their motivation?
Oh.
Because they know people will ask that.
Oh, so you think there are people who like submit to like cursed images, like they're content creators, but specifically specializing in cursed images.
Yeah.
Oh,
100%. I'm sure there's plenty of people that do.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's a hobby for a lot of people.
Level, like to make a suit, put it on, take a picture in a dirty kitchen. It's not that dirty. It looks. Yeah,
it actually looks pretty nice.
Yeah. I think it's just the yellow tint. My brain automatically assumed it was dirty.
All right. Okay, you know what? Let's one final mini segment, just because I think people are going to be curious about this. Okay. So let's say that all three of the following people are naughty and they get into a plane ride all at the same time. Ethan from H3 Productions, Keemstar from Drama Alert, and Leafy from Leafy. Leafy from Leafy. That plane crashes, and you can never talk about them again because they're dead. What would you do with your channel?
Talk about all the speculation regarding the plane crash. I mean, why did it crash? Who crashed it? Was there someone behind it? You know, there'd probably be a lot of Twitter discussion surrounding that. It'd be a big mystery. I'm pretty sure Tro would make like a 3-hour video on that at least.
You would try to find the black box.
But you try like 8 at this point.
Yeah, for sure. There'd just be so many mystery because it's just inexplicable. How were they all on the same plane at the same time? What caused it? What led up to this? That? Where were they going? How did it crash? Who crashed it? Was it an accident? Did they land on an island? Did they survive, but they don't have internet access? Are they on Mr. Beast's island? Could Mr. Beast make a video rescuing them?
Lolita Island.
There's a lot. But if I couldn't talk about them again, I just make content on other content creators. Like, I've made content on my most popular videos on Alinity. So
yeah.
Alinity just bought a ticket to that plane.
Oh fuck.
You're saying Pokemon's getting on too.
Oh my god, there's no big drama creator. there's no big creators to talk about. PewDiePie's on the plane too.
Oh no, it's the Fortnite bus and
everybody-
Ninja's in the front seat driving it.
Shit,
Oh, no,
he's
they all
about to
died.
crash. No, he's
Oh,
not.
no.
Look
Oh,
where he's
Team
going.
10.
You look behind
No.
him. Oh my god. If I couldn't do drama anymore, yes.
Yeah.
I think I'd just talk about like I think my easiest transition would just be talking into general internet culture topics like, oh, the PS5 comes out. Let's talk about the tweets about the PS5.
Okay.
Or something like that. Just talk about whatever I want. Maybe do gaming stuff. I don't know. I just like talking and making videos. It doesn't really matter if it's commentary or if it's gaming or if it's whatever. I just talk about what I'm interested in. There's always stuff in the world to be interested in. So I just talk about things, I guess, or read tweets about other things. I don't know. I don't plan that far in the future. I'm just doing what I'm doing, and if something
You're not
changes,
planning for the YouTuber apocalypse. Exactly.
No.
Yeah.
The YouTuber plane crash.
Yeah, I'm not.
The rise and fall of the YouTuber plane. That'd be a good video.
That'd be a great video title. Literally rising and falling.
All right. Should we call it quits?
Yeah,
Can I do one more song?
Sure. Yeah.
All right. Let me find a good. Oh, here we go. You hear that? That's the sound of the YouTuber plane. It's going down. Everybody's gonna die. Now, Pokemon's on the plane, and so is her boyfriend. They're all dead. They all fucking died.
And nobody was alive to tell us who the boyfriend was.
Exactly.
Wow. That's tragic. And the one person who did miraculously survive, they said the boyfriend was wearing a mask, a ski mask, so they didn't know who it was.
What if the boyfriend was Leafy?
That'd be hilarious. That'd be so
Plot twist of the
fucking funny.
century.
I would love that.
Speaking
It's
of
been
plot
me the
twists of the
entire
century.
time.
Oh.
It
All
was
right.
me.
Bowblax, where can people find your stuff?
YouTube.com/Bowblax2 and Twitter.com/Bowblax and Twitch.tv/Bowblax.
Why is it Bowblax 2?
Because my commentary channel was originally my second channel, and then I
Oh,
swapped
right.
it. Yeah. So YouTube.com/Bowblax is the gaming channel with like 15K. You can sub to that one too if you want.
Sub to both.
Yeah.
If you want.
Oh yeah. And sub to the first podcast.
Oh yeah, for
You
sure.
haven't?
Guys, we are just now within the last 2 weeks actually starting to put this podcast on YouTube. And it's a labor of love. It doesn't help us with audio listens. It doesn't help us with our monetization partner on audio. It's not really going to do much for us at first. If you really want us to keep putting it on here, which we really want to do, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Seriously, you can always change your mind if you want to later. But for now, we really need you to do that. So
Here, let's
go ahead
play a
and do
game.
that.
Hold on, Lars, I got this. Let's play a game.
Okay.
All right. So I want you, if you're listening to this on YouTube, I want you well, hold on, I'm trying to think of like what I can say, because I don't know how old you are. I'm gonna say like if you're of age, hit the subscribe button with your balls. If you're not of age, then just press it with your finger.
I don't feel like that added
Why
much.
would
to
they
that.
want to press it with their balls?
It's a game. It's like, oh, I'm gonna see if I could do this.
Oh, haha, can my balls have enough pressure to press a fucking key on the keyboard? Haha.
Yeah, you know, like when
And then your
iPhones are
fucking
first doing the
roommate
touchpads.
and then your roommate comes in, they're like, what the fuck are you, what? This ain't porn.
I'm subscribing
more
to the first podcast.
I'm more disappointed that it's
Yeah.
not porn. 'Cause what
Yeah.
the fuck are you doing? You just love the fucking feeling of keyboards on your balls?
That haptic
You
feedback,
need, like, it's
a little bit
been
of
quarantined for a
vibration.
while. Do you need me to like get a girl? Like, do you need me to like? Is
What zero
prostitution
pussy
an
does to a
option here?
motherfucker.
Like, do you need someone? Do you need something? There'd be a lot of questions. So just press it with your finger, maybe.
Yeah, keep it simple, guys. Just press the subscribe. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe the ball idea isn't the greatest.
Yeah, thank you, Doplex, for making this vastly more complicated than it needed to
Yeah,
be.
there's so
Well,
many more,
yeah.
there's so many variables you'd have to think about if you're trying to press the subscribe button with your balls. Is there enough force on
Yeah.
your balls? Like, you'd have to push it down pretty hard. Like, you'd have to like bend a lot. You'd have to like get the keyboard on the ground and like squat and like I don't even know how that.
Also, this is going to sound like an excuse, but it's actually not, because I'll tell you, because I've been able to check on the audio listens for our podcast in the past, and it turns out that like most of you who are listening to the podcast are listening to it like within the first few hours when it comes out. So I know that a lot of you guys have notifications turned on your podcast apps. You may want to do that on YouTube as well. The cool thing about the YouTube channel and watching it on video is, number one, you get the cool vaporwave visuals that Mir has cooked up for us. And also, you get to see those creepy cursed images that we've been describing on the podcast in full glorious, not HD, I guess SD in most cases. But yeah, it's an enhanced experience. And we're going to start doing more stuff where you'll want to tune into the YouTube version, I think.
Yeah.
So go ahead and check that out.
How will
Hit
you
the
know
bell.
what a Big Mac with no meat looks like?
Yeah.
How could you guess that? Logically, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah, and you could even hit the little bell icon with your balls.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. No. No, let's not get back into that.
Try to do that.
You could try.
Yeah. Also, if you're an OG or even a new fan that really likes the podcast, probably the number one coolest, most awesome, and most beneficial to yourself way to help the podcast is to go on Patreon. Patreon.com/T1podcast gets you bonus episodes of the show, early listening privileges, a funny role on the Discord, a patron-only chat, and more. Bowblax, what's that link?
Yeah, it's patreon.com/T1podcast.
See, he hit his mouse with his balls too hard, and now he's struggling.
Yeah.
That's why that was
That's
the voice.
what happens when you try to sub with your balls. It just
Yeah.
the doctor's
true.
gonna be like, "What the fuck did you do?" And they're like, "Well, I was subbing
This is
to
just
the
how I
first
sound
podcast."
now.
Yeah, and then the doctor would be like, "Okay, well, that's a valid excuse for fucking up your balls, like subbing to the first podcast. Like, I'd do that any day. Like, it's worth." So the doctor would understand. He's a big podcast fan, as you should be too. The first podcast, be a big fan, just like the doctor, because the doctor's smart. He's been through university all those years to get all those degrees, and he decides his number one podcast to watch is the first podcast. So if you want to be as smart as someone who with a big PhD, big
And a big penis.
experience, big brain, big balls, sub to the first podcast with your balls.
Legally speaking, if you sub to us, you become a doctor. That is true.
Yeah.
So, also, lastly, speaking of podcasts, you have a podcast as well. What is that podcast, and how can they find it?
It is RFC After Hours on the channel Augie RFC. If you type in Augie RFC on YouTube, it will come up. It's called RFC After Hours. We go live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, providing there's drama news. Some days we skip, but those are the 3 days we would go live with the podcast. And he also streams a lot of games with me on there too, so you can follow there for all the great stuff.
All the
Yeah.
Bowblax you
And him.
need.
Yeah. But if you're going to watch a gaming stream, watch it on twitch.tv/Bowblax. Don't watch it through Augie's view. Come on, he gets enough.
Yeah, don't
And-
don't give him the money. Give Bowblax the money.
Yeah. But no, I love doing that podcast. It's great. If you guys love to hear me
It's
talk
a great
here,
show.
and you don't want me, because on my channel, let's be honest, on my channel, I just read tweets. I'm not really giving my own opinion or talking as freeform as I am here. So if you want something more akin to how I'm talking here, you could go to Augie's channel and watch After Hours.
There
Okay.
you go. Cool.
All right.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks for listening. Bowblax, you've started the show, so go ahead and end it.
Thank you guys for watching, and don't bust your balls pressing sub.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, bye, everybody. All right. This one's for Iceberg. Iceberg, I lost you. I miss you. I want you on my sandwich, bitch. You taste like water, but that's okay. You taste like water,